I would want to say, I believe that political representation is required in order to ensure that you uplift people. I believe that politics and your involvement in politics is about making people's lives better. But you know what? When I think of Roderick Hines, I know that Cynthia Forde in St. Thomas will make mincemeat out of him. Friends, join me in welcoming to the podium our candidate and the next representative in St. Thomas, Cynthia Forde.
Good night to the folk of St. George South and the other surrounding communities. Don't mind the voice. We are on a battle trail. I bring you wonderful greetings from St. Thomas. The people there are ready to vote and to get rid of the Democratic Labour Party. And we want you here in St. George South to be just as willing, ready, and able to dispose of the Democratic Labour Party. They came in on a high note. They came in giving you pie in the sky promises, duty-free cars, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living will be their interest. And they have turned the tables around. Rudy would have talked about my opponent. I'm not here to talk about him because nobody wants to talk about a sleeping doctor. Every household in St. Thomas, who is it? You mean the sleeping doctor. But the Democratic Labour Party has other sleepers. Don't forget the Prime Minister was sleeping too. He said they roused the sleeping giant. And I believe that more of them will sleep just now because they're going to have some broken hearts. You need to bring home Dwight Sullivan here in St. George South and make a difference. I was going to talk a little bit, but they only gave me a few seconds. I was going to talk a little bit about the Dems and the citizenship induction ceremony, where they've taken every single individual who has been given status in Barbados, and they invited them to a ceremony and shook their hands with the Governor General and so on and so forth, because they are trying to see if they can attract the 120 persons that were inducted in April last year to vote for them. And they came back again last month. I had another one. Vote the Dems out because they have not given you the opportunities that you deserve to be able to live the quality life that a Barbados Labour Party came in 1994 and put jobs in your hands that you can go and work. They gave you opportunities to build houses. They improved the whole of Barbados so that we, the people of Barbados, were admired by our friends and families down in the region, all in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Trinidad. They were looking and saying, how a short man like Arunatha could run a country so good? Because they recognized that we were on the stepping stones of becoming yet another developed country. But tonight, a Democratic Labour Party that came in and found $2.5 billion in reserves has whittled away everything that the Labour Party built up in 14 years. And yet, they asked the question, what did they do in 14 years? 14 years and nothing to show. I don't have to rehearse what the Labour Party did, but what I can do is deal with the Member of Parliament for St. George South. I come here to praise Dwight Sullivan for his commitment, sacrifice, and service. He is emulating his father, Luther. He is stepping in the shoes of his Louis Tell now Sir Louis, who served this constituency with distinction. And I want a chance for Dwight Sutherland, a grassroots young man who can step into the House of Parliament and speak on behalf of the people of St. George South. He is not going to forget from whence he has come. He is going to climb up the ladder and bring along others with him, and not climb up the ladder and look down at the others and feel pity for them. He is an ordinary man. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the Dems are talking about the society all the time. I don't know what society the Member of Parliament for this constituency would have been developing. I saw in that Member of Parliament a measure of spite, a measure of victimization, a measure of hate, and I call it a measure of ignorance. Because I want you to know that when the member was the Minister of Family, there was a distinguished member of this society who played cricket across the length and breadth of the world and was able to put Barbados on the world map. And the Labour Party chose to give him a small stipend every month, and he would go around to school, because you're talking about a cricketing icon, and he would go from school to school, community to community, talking to young people, especially young men, young boys, about cricket and how to develop character and how to play the game and so on. And as soon as the government changed in January 2008, that stipend was taken away from that distinguished Barbadian. And he was put on in a way that it was such hardship for him, because he's not a person who worked a lot in Barbados, so he would not have gotten a national insurance pension. The man owed rent. He owed so many different things, and we sought to cushion it in the Labour Party, because you can't have a man who is a sir not being able to live a quality life, and somebody whom you expected, that is a woman with a compassion, allow the men in the Democratic Labour Party to stop that old man and that distinguished cricketing icon from getting a small stipend to help to give him a better quality life. What else do you think could be worse than that? I have a letter with me. I will share it with you, because it only goes to show, again, that as Minister of Family, the sadness of it all. I am going to try to avoid giving you a copy, but I got it here. On the letterhead, dated the 3rd of July 2008, to whom it may concern. And it has the gentleman's name, his date of birth, his address here in Ellerton, and his telephone number. I write to certify that this gentleman, so-and-so, has not been well and is in financial difficulty. He is a patient of, and the doctor's name is here and where the doctor's workplace is, and is being treated for epilepsy and diabetes. He is senile and psychotic and has been ailing with these health problems since 1962. From then, he has been hospitalized at both the geriatric hospital and the psychiatric hospital. His name again is a decent gentleman who is unfortunately incapable of work. To this end, he is soliciting assistance. Thank you for your kind consideration, and her name signed on it, a Minister of Family, who could have called up the welfare department, who could have called up the social agencies and gave that poor little old man a stipend, a grant, to be able for him to live a better life. And my friend received this in a business place in, where do you call it in there? In the Pine, up in Wildy. And this old man carrying it from place to place, asking for a pittance. And a Minister of Family chose to put in a letter at the man, so he got it. That made it worse. I don't want it all over the place, because the man has his dignity. But I had to use the letter so you can see the ignorance, the spite, and the wickedness of some people in this country called Barbados. It is disgraceful, it is hurtful, and we cannot say we come to represent people's interests and we siphon out people because of who they are and where they come from to give them services. I am hurt, I am disappointed, I am angry. I am not bashing her because she's a woman. I am angry about the circumstances surrounding that poor man's plight. And then I looked into my files and I found this. And this was the most despicable thing you could ever want. It says labor pains, May the 6th, 2012. And it's all about a former personal assistant who allegedly was fired while she was on sick leave. I don't know how a minister can labor, if that is what really happened, could dismiss somebody when they are on sick leave, according to what the newspaper and the article said. Allegedly, this young woman, who you know helped her to win the seat up here, was dismissed unceremoniously. Don't you know the story? Don't you know the individual? Do you see her there now? I think it is a disgrace. But let me talk for Dwight. I want Dwight not to make those stupid mistakes. Dwight, never forget where you have come from. You can climb as many ladders as ever. Never forget the people whose shoulders on whom you will stand and whom you have stood in order to reach where you are. I expect the people of St. George South to uplift you and give you an opportunity to serve. And I am confident you will serve them well and you will not forget from whence you have come. But you all have, as older persons, as professionals, to help to uphold him, because it is not easy to become a member of parliament, to juggle your family life, and to be able to juggle your work as well as the serving of the rest of the community. Now, I came through a community and I saw on Tuesday morning a lonely placard. And I was confused because the young lady in my vehicle said, Auntie Cynthia, is there a candidate by that name? And I said, I believe so. What is it? Because I can't see, I'm driving. She said, Ma, wait till you get to the next one. And the next one was like 10 poles down. And when I saw it, it said, Paul James. And I said, Paul James? I know James Paul. So I thought I'll follow the other polls in the other communities. And then I saw a Celie Richard and a Carrington Michael and a Blackett Steve. I always call him Sleeve Jacket, by the way. Sleeve Jacket. And then I saw a Stuart Fundell. And I thought the Democratic Labour Party really seems to think that it can tell that Barbadians are illiterate. You know the reason why those names are written like that? Because they know that that is how it is written on the ballot paper. So when it comes to me, it is Forde and then Cynthia. And therefore they are saying, let us put it that way, that when people get to the polls, they get accustomed. It is the mentality that the Prime Minister showed me. When the Prime Minister said, if people don't want to vote, then we can as well pack up and shut up shop and go home. Because all the free education at primary and secondary level and at the university with the millions of dollars we spend on them, they might as well go back to the cane field. So the Democratic Labour Party treating you all as though you still in the cane field and can't read and write. Be jinxed, but it hurt me. Because my mother worked in the cane field to raise 8 wonderful children. And all of them can read and write. And my mother could also read and write. And I have a problem with the stigma that some people in Barbados who have climbed on the shoulders of those individuals who toiled in the cane field day and night to be able to build this society are being scoffed and pushed aside. That is the reason why Mr. Maskell behaved the way he does. They didn't think that he was worthwhile. They treat Quay Sinclair and Michael Lashley similarly. They don't think that they are worthwhile because they went to the garrison. That's the kind of attitude that a lot of them in there are playing. I was hurt to hear his comment, and I am disappointed in those posters that the people who live in Padmore Village told me they saw them over there unpacking a container. They told me that. I didn't see it. I don't know, but the residents in Padmore Village, St. Thomas, adjoining the area where Costules is, said they saw the container on their property and they were unstuffing the container. Out came the posters, out came the little drawstring bags, out came some flags and mugs and watches and all that. And I am telling you, this government cannot tell anybody they're led by example. So many people are going home in Barbados. Printeries are getting ready to shut down. And the Democratic Labour Party, I am told, got those posters printed in Miami and shipped to Barbados. I hope they play duty. I hope they play duty on the things that were unstuffed from that container, because I don't know who is managing to cost you less. But the printers in Barbados want money, and I am happy that the Barbados Labour Party, under the Right Honourable Owen Arthur, got our posters printed here in Barbados, keeping people employed and making Barbadians happy again. A Barbados Labour Party will give you more work as the time goes on, because we believe that people shall have the freedom to work, freedom to enjoy life, and not be put in a stranglehold where every minute unemployment, and you cannot eke out a dollar bill to go and buy a little ice cream like you used to before. This government came in and said, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And we saw cost of living not go up by 3, but it has gone up by about 25 now. Every area of your life, professional fees, the dentist had to pay more under them in 2008 budget. Even the undertaker had to pay more for professional fees. A Democratic Labour Party in 1994 were seeking under an IMF program to carry out house rent in the housing units, to carry out bus fare, to carry out road tax. And the astute leader in the Labour Party, Owen Arthur, for 14 years did not carry up the price of any of those services. A Democratic Labour Party came back and carried up bus fare. They came back and they carried up road tax to carry it through the sky. They came back and even taxed the liquor license that the poor ordinary shopkeepers were unable to pay the $1,000, from $350 previously to $400. If you have a little fat from a $50 liquor license, you ended up paying $100. This Democratic Labour Party cares nothing about the people. And they say the DLP stands for Dare Loving People. For me, they are damn lying people, and they have misled you by that glossy manifesto. But you know, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. My minutes are counting down. My minutes are counting down. I want to ask you all to lend your support. I do not want to tell you about anything with any constituency council, because when I heard from a priest in a church in St. Joseph say that they were able to give out for Christmas $250 checks to people through the constituency council, it hurt my heart. I have heard of another one in St. Thomas who, through the council, sitting on the board, it is alleged that his light bill was cut off and the constituency council paid enough money. I heard of one of Miss Motley's constituencies in Michael Northeast, where they claim that somebody died and the candidate wanted to win the support of the family, and the candidate committed him or herself to paying for the turnout for the person through the constituency council. We have agencies in Barbados through the welfare department that if a person dies and the family can't raise the money to bury them, you go and Trudeau gets the turnout. You don't want the person to be buried as a pauper. And I am disappointed that they promised us constituency council will be able to have people work together and help the member of parliament be jinxed, and none of us in opposition get in. The minutes are counting down. They got me here now doing a real fast race. Summer camps, $30 million approximately over a 5-year period, and the caterers every year in a 28-day camp are earning $3.4 or $3.5 million. The caterers alone, very little spent on our children. It has to stop. Volunteerism must reign again in Barbados, where our children will be safer, but we will have people who have that spirit of giving and sharing and molding and ensuring that our young people become wholesome adults in this society. I saw the walkover, the crossover you call it, and I said it tonight in the TV. I think somebody said it was there. I don't know, it wasn't there. But I want to share it with you again. That only needed a light with a button, as is the case when you're coming up on the, what do you call the hill? St. Barnabas Hill. Press a button, lights turn to red, cross the road, go on about your business. Traffic has to stop. Go up by Parkinson or by CBC. Do the same thing to make sure people get across safely. Those people have spent $2.4 million to build a crossover. You have to walk from here to that traffic, that light you can see it beyond on the building, and then walk back in a slant, and then go over, and then go back down in a zigzag like a Z. They made a real Z of you, but that Z is in the sleeping, you know, when the sleeping is saying a sleeping political party called the Democratic Labour Party. I said they could have named it Funbul's Crossover or Pandora's Box. You know what I mean. I want to close, ladies and gentlemen, a couple seconds to go, by saying, take the money that the Democratic Labour Party will give you. Hold on to the watch and watch it as it takes away after midnight on the 21st. And when they wake up on the 22nd from the slumber that Fumble and the sleeping doctor and the others are in, they will see a change of government. They will be so strongly awakened that they will not want to face the electorate again. Vote for Dwight Sutherland. Vote for the Barbados Labour Party. Go out there in your numbers. Give your service voluntarily. Give Owen Arthur and the Barbados Labour Party a chance again to bring back Barbados to the level that it was at as a developed country, that we will continue to be admired by the people down the islands, and we will have our pride and take away the suffering and the hardship from us because we are a goodly people. And I am sure that once you give Owen and his team the vote, Barbados will then be the gem of the Caribbean, because you will benefit by whatever is being done to uplift this country. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. We will see each other on the 22nd of February. Thank you.
Friends, you have been a wonderful audience. We encourage you on February the 21st to go out and vote for Dwight Sutherland, vote for the Barbados Labour Party, and ensure